How do you cut through the noise? First of all, thank the noise. I'm just trying to give you a reframe that it's not actually against you, it's actually for you. It's where the money is, and it's where the people are, and it's where distribution channels are. There's actually people you can collaborate with. It's actually a blessing and a benefit to your SaaS business that you're feeling saturation. When you actually go after a red ocean strategically, is all these companies producing leads for you. I call this piggyback marketing. I'm gonna sit off the back of all the marketing initiatives of all my competitors. They're not my competitors. What they're doing is they're creating my future customer for me. They just don't know it. The secret to actually making a SaaS product actually cut through all the noise and all the competition that's going on inside the market, funny enough, is exactly the opposite of what college taught me. Let me tell you a quick story on this. I used to be a door-to-door sales guy, and I did 2 summers of door-to-door. I actually did a third. It wasn't door-to-door, but it's telemarketing. And I realized that, if I was ever going to go be a marketer or an entrepreneur or a business owner, if I didn't know how to sell, it's going to be a massive roadblock for me. So I went on to door-to-door sales, and I sold pest control in Utah. That was hard because there's not that many bugs and it's knocked like crazy. I was one of the best sales guys though. So much so they're giving me shout outs. They're like, Steve, we're so excited. Chat, how are you guys doing that? It's amazing. You're getting all these accounts. You're selling like crazy. About halfway through the summer, I got distracted. And so that kind of stopped after that. I was so poor in college. I was living on student loans, paycheck to paycheck from the government. I think we were living on like $3,000 every quarter. I mean, we were living real bare bones. And I was waiting for this check. Man, this check was going to save everything. It was going to save my life. Just give me an extra 20, 30 grand. That's all I wanted. And I pretty much camped by the mailbox waiting for this check. As my check shows up, I open it up, and for 5 months of rejection on the doors, there inside my check was a check for $1,100. And I was like, what? I mean, I freaked out. I called my sales trainer, and I was like, this is 100% just like, this is a bonus check. Haha, thanks, man. Bonus check. Appreciate that. Hey, when's my real check showing up? That's nice of you. Thanks for the little bonus. And he goes, dude, that's your check. I said, that's my check. He goes, no, that's not my check. I was literally one of the top dudes for so long. And he goes, no, that's your check. I even threw in a little extra. I started getting mad. This is not my check. Are you kidding me? That's not my check. Right? Where's my real check? I got rejected for 5 months, like sweat my face off, literally, to go do this. And he yelled through the phone a line that literally changed how I market. And funny enough, is how I solve SaaS problems. He goes, I kept telling you to stop selling in those poor markets. Our entire industry is based on rebuilds. So these are poor markets and neighborhoods. What do you think happened on the rebuild? They all canceled. That changed my life. I realized right then and there that poor markets, poor neighborhoods, if you will, is a sucky place to build a subscription business. Because I was unwilling and not feeling confident at the time to go learn how to sell in rich neighborhoods, if you will, I didn't learn how to go do that. Because of my own money false beliefs, I went and I sold in cheap neighborhoods for cheaper contracts. Let's just be honest, people who could not afford the rebuild, and I didn't know that, right? But they canceled. And I started realizing, oh my gosh, market size matters. And you probably have heard of this concept. I'm going to draw this out right here. You've probably heard of this concept, especially as a SaaS owner, of red ocean, blue ocean, right? Red ocean. Funny, you might laugh at this and go, how does this relate to having a successful SaaS company? Like this, okay? So we have a red ocean and we have a blue ocean. Blue ocean, right? And the red ocean, as the concept goes, and I was taught this in marketing school and I was taught this in business school, the red ocean, oh no, the red ocean is actually super scary because there's so much competition and there's other people in there and the margins are razor thin and there's all this noise and all this saturation, right, which you might be feeling. And so what do us do as entrepreneurs, and what are we kind of taught to go do? We're taught to leave the red ocean and go build a blue ocean, or a new market, if you will. Now, that's a great method, but it's not the only method. From that story, as well as a lot of others that kept referring to and reinforcing the principle I just said, I started realizing that, funny enough, the red ocean is actually where all the security is. So the first thing I would say is that if you are feeling the pressure and the stress of owning a SaaS business, and you're like, oh my gosh, how do I cut through the noise? How do I cut through the attention? How do I cut through all of the people willing to sell cheaper than I am? First mistake that people make is they leave the market and they are like, well, I'll just go to where there's no competition. But you know what's funny is that when you leave the place where and you go to this place where there's no competition, you are literally a market size of one person, right? one person, meaning how big is the market at that size? It's nothing. It's you. It's literally however many products you sold that day. Blue oceans suck. I hate red ocean, blue ocean strategy. And I recognize that I am going against one of the largest concepts in all of marketing when I say this. I hate it because there's no money in it. I hate it because I have to convince people that they should leave their neighborhood. It's like moving. Go leave your neighborhood and come over to this rich neighborhood, and then I'll sell you over here. It's hard. It's hard to do it. So the first thing that you actually have to do when you are trying to get unique in a big sea of red is stay in the red ocean. So I don't like red ocean, blue ocean. I prefer what I call red ocean, blue offer, meaning I'm going to stay in the red. I'm going to stay in the red on purpose. You're feeling saturation. You're feeling that there's all this market noise. Good. The first thing I want to say is that's normal. Don't leave it. Right? It's easier to learn to be unique in a sea of red than it is to go build an ocean. Building a market, building an ocean is a lot like saying, oh my gosh, I got this little time cube here that I used to track time and productivity. But let's say I invented this thing. Oh my gosh, I made this product that no one's ever seen before, and it's amazing, and I've used my entrepreneurial genius and innovative power to go make this thing. And simply because it's new and no one's ever seen before, I should go build a mall that I can sell it in. What? That's crazy. That's red ocean, blue ocean. I'm building a mall. It's better to say, why don't I just take this thing and go to where the malls already are? And if I can't even convert the foot traffic that's walking by me, why on earth would you go build a market? Don't go build a market. That's ridiculous. Statistically, it takes about 10 years to build a market also, by the way. So if you can't see your current SaaS product as the very exact same thing that you're going to be doing 10 years from now, definitely don't go build a market. Stay in the red. So how do you cut through the noise? First of all, thank the noise. I'm just trying to give you a reframe that it's not actually against you. It's actually for you. It's where the money is, and it's where the people are, and it's where distribution channels are, and it's where there's actually people you can collaborate with. It's actually a blessing and a benefit to your SaaS business that you're feeling saturation. So how do you actually use it to your advantage then, right? So first and foremost, don't leave the market. And the other reason I think of it like this, like let's say this is the red ocean. Y'all know that I'm really good at drawing, not. But this is how I think about a market. You got this big fat red ocean, and I want a big fat rich market. I want a market that's been around for decades, which is the exact opposite of the norm of what's taught out in the marketplace, and especially in entrepreneurship and marketing, business ownership. I'm telling you to do the exact opposite that everyone's telling you to go do, okay? It's actually an advantage. It's where the people are. So think about it like this. This is kind of the mental image I keep on what a market looks like. On the outside of the market, let's say sitting on the edge of the market is all these businesses, right? Let's say these are sometimes I think of a market like a farmer's market. If you ever go to a farmer's market, sometimes I'll put my kids in my car and we'll go to the farmer's market. And the market is just the place where the buyers and the sellers meet. That's all a market is, right? And it's around a similar problem. So let's say that this is the SaaS market, right? You got a SaaS product. There's all these other businesses there, and they are all trying to survive as well, right? They're all sitting on the outskirts of the market right here. All right. On the outside of that, let's say that there's people, the dream customers, the buyers, right? And you got Susie Q sitting right there. You got Joe Schmo sitting right here. And they're all looking at that market, wondering, should I buy from that market? And on the inside is everybody who already has bought. So I'm going to teach you one of the coolest positioning tricks I use in marketing, specifically for SaaS companies. I've used this in multiple SaaS companies. In fact, I have a SaaS client that I've been using this on. I use it for a lot of them because it's actually where the infinite leads are. So let me explain that real quick. So imagine that you're only in this market if you at some time have opened your wallet. So people in the market are people who are already buyers. That's a good thing, right? I get to separate from the dabblers versus somebody who is never going to buy anything and they never will, right? Immediately, right there. So what do I do with my marketing? How do I make my company stand out when there's all this big sea of red, which is actually a blessing? Oh my gosh, there's so much competition. If you're feeling the competition in your market right now, you're feeling the noise, feeling the pressure, let me know down below, because I actually want to congratulate you and firstly shake your hand. That's a good thing. It's how you build a sustainable business and get rich. So stay in the red. Okay, but let's say that all these people in here in the center, they're the ones that have actually opened their wallet up, right? Now think about these other businesses as well. This business wants to survive and thrive and not die. This business wants to survive and thrive and not die. Oh my gosh, they all do. So what are all of these businesses doing that you get to take advantage of because you chose a red market? Well, oh my gosh, this company right here, they spend a ton of money every single month to bring fresh leads and buyers into the market. All right. Oh my gosh, they're bringing a person in and they're bringing a person. And then this company, maybe they're really good at Facebook ads, but they're spending a ton of money in Facebook ads, bringing in tons of leads and bringing in fresh blood, right? And let's say that this business up here at the top, let's say they have a big YouTube channel. Oh man, they're surviving because they have this massive YouTube channel. Oh, it's awesome. So what you get when you actually go after a red ocean strategically is all these companies producing leads for you. I call this piggyback marketing. I'm going to sit off the back of all the marketing initiatives of all my competitors. They're not my competitors. What they're doing is they're creating my future customer for me. They just don't know it. Classic example of this. There's a huge SaaS company I worked for a while that was spending, I don't know, like $1.5 million a month on Facebook ads. And I was talking to a SaaS client of mine, and I was like, "Can you spend $1.5 million a month on Facebook ads right now?" And he was like, "No. Do I have to do that to like win?" And I was like, no. It's just for the point. I said, "Oh, this company also, they've got 200 employees right now. Do you have 200 employees?" And he was like, "No." Do I need to do that? Do I have to have so I got to go get VC funding and get this massive staff to win? And I was like, no. It's just to prove a point here. What I was trying to help him understand is that all these other companies with these massive budgets and VC funding and all the stuff that they're doing to thrive and survive and get sales, all they're doing for you is they're getting people into the market. So where should you target your marketing? If you want to cut through the noise, first of all, you got to realize that you don't need to cut through the noise. I position all of my marketing and lead gen efforts as a SaaS business, right? Any kind of subscription business, really. I don't position myself as, how can I get people that have never bought anything before to come by? And that's what everyone goes and does. What I do is I position my marketing and subscription business towards the center of the market. I want to fish from the center of the red ocean, not from the outside of it. Steve, how can you do that? How can we do that when they've already bought my competitor's SaaS product? It's funny. My girls don't know this, but we're about to take them on a surprise trip to Disneyland in a couple months here. They have no idea. I'm a Disney dad. You know it. I'm a kid at heart. I love it. But you know what's funny? Disney still gets bad reviews. Disney still produces frustrated customers. Every business on the planet produces some degree of frustrated people. You never won't, right? Either they wake up on the wrong side of the bed that day, or maybe you didn't do as a good job of as fulfilling as you should have, or maybe the customer experience and onboarding wasn't as amazing. So what's cool about this is I want you to remember this phrase here. There's customer collection and there's customer creation. All these businesses that are out here trying to bring in someone who's never bought before and trying to bring in someone who's never opened their wallet before, they're creating customers. They're creating customers out of people who are not planning on being customers that day. But it's a strategic advantage to me as a SaaS owner when I can collect customers. All I do is I wait for this business to produce frustrated customers. And I wait for this business to produce frustrated customers. And I wait for this business to produce frustrated customers. And my marketing is targeting people who are already frustrated. Now, why would I do this? Especially as a SaaS business. I'm a sales funnel builder, right? I built sales funnels, professional sales funnel builder. Been that way since 2014, 2015. Been building funnels for a long time now. And one day, as I was sitting next to Russell Brunson as the funnel guy, I had a quick chat with my mom, and I was just talking with her real quick. And my mom, I love my parents, they're amazing people. My mom goes, "Hey, how's that funnel thing going? You're selling kitchen funnels, right?" I was like, "What? No, I don't know how to cook." She goes, yeah, that funnel thing. I don't really know what you do. You're selling kitchen funnels. I said, "No, I'm like in tech." She goes, what even is that? Now think about that. How much education do I have to bring my mom through for her to understand the word funnel? That's a big education bridge that I got to cross with someone like my mom. Education costs company time and money. That's marketing dollars that I have to go put out to educate someone enough, like my mom, to even value what I do. Interesting. So when I go and I target the center of markets, They're already educated. They wouldn't be a buyer unless they were. And I'm literally sitting off the back of the marketing and education and the time and the money that all these other businesses has already spent, right? If this company right here is thriving because they learned how to bring people into the market, they're crossing a slight education bridge that means I don't have to. They cross that bridge. They're not going to ask questions like, what is a funnel, or whatever your market is. They're not going to ask questions like, it's so funny, the classic example I like to give on stage is like network marketing. Right? What a first network, I'm not making fun of the industry, I'm in it. But what is the first question the network marketers always ask if they're considering being one? Like, let's say they're brand new. Is it a pyramid scheme? Right? Guess what? You get to skip all the noob questions. You get to skip all that stuff when someone has already got past those objections and now they're inside the market, which means when I target the center of that noise, when I learn how to be unique in a sea of red, I don't have to go and educate that person anymore on the noob questions. I don't have to spend my money as a business educating them enough so they value the SaaS that I've created. Does that make sense? It's one of the biggest shortcuts to positioning in all of marketing, especially with SaaS businesses, because I'm just going to sit off the back of my competition's marketing. I'm going to let them go and educate my customer for me. I'm going to let them spend their marketing dollars on making more noise, right? The noise is an advantage. It's not a disadvantage. It means that I'm going to work with someone who's already practiced overcoming all these things and they've opened their wallet, right? So what's the key to cutting through the noise? First of all, again, it's not actually a disadvantage. It's an advantage to SaaS companies, really to any business, but especially SaaS businesses that are subscription based. The second thing, though, is you have to learn how to become unique in a sea of red. All right. So the second part of this is like, all right, Steve, I hear you. That makes sense. How do you actually go use that to your strategic advantage? Well, all right. So what do you do once you actually have your positioning correct? Because any SaaS company that tells me they have a real problem with their leads and their sales, first and foremost, I know that they probably have a positioning issue, which means they're not doing any of this stuff. They're trying to go build a market instead of selling to the market. Okay. So how do we do that then? How do we actually cut through the noise in a way that makes people go, oh, this is fascinating. Okay. I can see that I need this SaaS tool in my life. Right? So how do we do that? Well, the first mistake that SaaS owners make is they make all of their marketing be about the tool they've created. That's not how you sell something. This is going to be maybe a weird thing to talk about. I really want you to just accept it for a second, play with it mentally, and then you can reject it later, but just play with it. You don't sell something by talking about it. So you have this tool. Let's say this is your SaaS tool, like whatever you've created, right? What most SaaS owners are doing is they go around and they make their sales material talking all about benefits, right? Talking about benefits. They're talking about features. We have this benefit. We have this feature. Our SaaS compared to that SaaS, we have these extra things in there. And it's like, that's cool to show on a sales page, but it's not you're not going to get leads like that, right? What you do as a SaaS owner, if you want to go sell like crazy, is you need to create a theology. You got to create a method, which is what you're actually selling. So the blue that you create in the sea of red is you want to create a method. Let's say you help people get leads. You're like, we have a very unique 6-step formula that helps people get leads. And it's step number 1 and step number 2 and step number 3, step number 4, 5, 6. And we know that if you just go execute those 6 steps, it's going to work. It's going to be awesome. Okay. Oh, and by the way, if you're actually wanting some help doing that, we've created a tool that helps you actually apply those 6 steps. You want to position your SaaS as the tool inside of a method, and what you're actually marketing, what you're actually using to be unique compared to all the other SaaS companies out there is you're actually using your method. Classic example of this, I'll just talk about it because some of you guys come from the funnel space, right, is from the funnel world. There was this thing called funnel hacks. What really grew that company was not ever by sending traffic to clickfunnels.com. We never grew ClickFunnels by sending traffic to clickfunnels.com. That's exactly what I'm talking about. We don't use the thing to sell the thing. What we do is we created something else that was called funnel hacks. And that's the methodology. It's a piece of education. The tool is just how you do the method. And so this right here is what makes you blue. This right here makes it so you're not just selling a tool, you're selling a theology. You're selling a framework, right? And the tool is just what helps people go get that done. That's really how you go do that. So if you think about it real quick, ask yourself and look inside of your SaaS company and ask yourself, Has all my marketing and all my selling been focused on my features and benefits and what made our thing cool and unique? Or do I have a broader theology on lead gen or weight loss or really whatever the thing is that you go out and do? And funny enough, that's what you send your marketing to. That right there is what you actually send into the center of your red market, taking advantage of all the noise and the pressure you might be feeling and just selling to people who are frustrated. Hey, did you not get the outcome you wanted with my top competitor? Oh, of course you didn't. It's because they're focused so much on the tool. The tool is amazing, but they don't have like this broader theology. They don't have a broader method. Do you want to learn how to do that? Awesome. Our tool is literally designed to help you go do that. And that right there is how you position a SaaS company to go cut through the noise, taking the noise by advantage, using it as an advantage, but also making it so that you actually have something to go sell that they care about, and your tool just happens to come with it.